Oh, yeah, you didn't have Luke Ryan. I got him straight away. Anyway, um, welcome to this episode, everyone. We're going to be talking about the fucking killers in every line. You know those people when the season starts and they're just pumping out 150s, 130s, 150s, and you're like, holy shit. And there's only like a couple people who have them, and they slaughter. We're going to be talking about who the killers could be in every line. And we're not talking about the mainstream killers. We're talking about the pod killers.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you want to start off? Because I'm just getting the notes up now.
Yeah, I'll start us off.
Yeah.
So in the back line, we started off with Max Holmes. Now, I don't actually rate this pick as much as you rate this pick. So I'd love if you could tell me a little bit about Max Holmes, just because when I looked at it, I didn't really see a correlation between good scores and bad scores and what was different.
Well, I think so last year for
Wait.
just me.
Why is your face purple?
No, it's because of my screen. Hey, it's because I don't have anything else up.
I was like, why? I looked at your face real quick. I'm like, mate's purple. Like, it's just, after all this shit, Blake just turned purple on us.
This is not. You gave that in there.
This is not good.
Gave that in there. All right. The reason why my face was purple was because it's a wallpaper. I've changed onto the. We've had a lot of technical issues getting into the second pod. We're pretty rusty, and anyway, we're talking about Max Holmes. I did have a look at Max Holmes because, from my understanding, last year, essentially him and Nick Martin, but basically they were sort of implemented in the Dacos 2023 role where they would be the main person, feeding the ball, to progress the ground, and end up, sort of a winger halfback. But there was periods where he was spending time in the midfield, and I had a quick look before the pod, and most of his CBAs were essentially around the 50 to, I'd say 65 mark. And really the change this year for Max Holmes is he's going to be sending it in the midfield, and will be the main guy within the CBAs, and that's what the reports are saying, that he's going to be a full-time mid. If that's the case, and his mids are say 70 or 80, I would expect that his points, he would be a beneficiary of having more points than previous year. So, and I think he would play more mid-time than Bailey Smith. Would you agree with that?
God, no.
No?
I think Bailey Smith's been told that he's going to, he's playing pure mid.
Yeah, but that's the same thing Max Holmes has been. Well, those are the reports that both of them are in and Danger would be in. But the others, I think it is, a new Geelong at the moment where, like you said on the previous pod, there were periods of time where I actually rate Tanner Bruin, but Jai Clark was in there. Cam Guthrie is reported to play. The other one, Zach. Cam Guthrie, I read somewhere that they were going to trial him as a centre, not a centre halfback, but a halfback flanker. So I feel like the move is going to be in the midfield, whether maybe it'll be 75 maybe, and then, I still think that's positive more than anything. And that's the reason why I don't mind the pick, because he could be a potential breakout. Yeah.
Well, listen to this. And this is what I was trying to work out because it kind of doesn't really make sense to me. When he's in the midfield, and for his standard of in the midfield, it's plus 50% CBAs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So plus 50% CBAs for Max Holmes. He doesn't really ever go much over that. his scores were 76, a 152, a 69, an 80, a 71, a 103, a 133, and a 134, right?
So not terrible, just a low
Not
floor.
terrible. Non-midfield, right,
Yeah.
were 88, 110, 82, 118, 104, 73, 121.
In the Dacos
Basically
role
this
that we're sort of,
it's basically the same though.
yeah.
You know, there's no like there wasn't like a, "Oh shit, like fuck yeah, he's playing midfield."
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't I'm not seeing like a noticeable thing, like, and obviously he's probably another year in the system, playing more mid, is gonna have more CBAs than probably 60 and 50. But is that gonna warrant me to pick him at how much is he at the moment?
533K, I think, something like that.
533K, an average of 99. So he's got to score over 100 every game to make money.
Well, I think you're picking him as a keeper. I don't think it. I mean, if you're picking a
You're
player
picking him
at
as
that
a
price, you're
keeper.
just backing them in. Yeah. Oh,
I know
you
you
wouldn't
pick
be.
him as a keeper, but you want a player for, what is it, 533. I mean, I want those players scoring like 100, 110.
And he has potential to do that. I mean, I don't. I don't mind the pick because if it's a change in role, I think he would benefit more from the mid minutes. But
Wait. Let's take this back. Sorry.
yeah,
Everything has changed. In that, what I just read out before, there was a game where he got subbed off from an injury.
yeah,
I actually take back everything I said. In When he plays, has more than 50% CBAs, he averages just under 110. It's about 107, 108. That's pretty good.
So are you on the pick or you're off the pick?
I could be on.
Shout out to our mate Max, who's picked Holmes about, I swear he's picked him 3 years in a row for this breakout year, and now everyone is going to probably pick him. I think he is up there in regards to ownership. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 15% or 20%. A lot of people are backing him in because he's a decent player. The only knock on him, he does get injured a fair bit.
Max Home is 18% ownership this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on, we'll get another couple here, and we spoke briefly on Short and like his role and stuff. Can you tell us more about that? Just because these are kind of players that you're looking into.
Well, I think Shorty, he has, it might have been 2 or 3 years ago, but he has got good track. He was a good scorer. And then I think the injuries, the calf injuries, I'm pretty sure that he was getting, I think it impacted his scoring. And then I think the others were getting utilised, such as Vlosten and Rioli, and I think that impacted him a fair bit. Now Rioli's gone. I think he could be enticing, but I was having a look at his kick-ins and how he scores his points, and I would have thought Rioli would have had a significant amount of kick-ins, and that wasn't the case at all. Short was having the kick-ins. So I think it's a bit of a questionable pick, but I only want to pick him because we know how shit teams, how that is. If they are shit, the defenses are usually good scorers because the ball is just always in there, end of the field.
North Melbourne.
North Melbourne, for example.
Love a halfbacker.
West Coast with what's his name, McGovern.
Yeah.
I can't think of other teams off the top of my head, but
but it makes sense.
440K. I bet, like we said earlier, he was priced at an 80 average or something like that, wasn't he? Or something like that. He's questionable, but the big knock on him is sometimes he can't kick, even though he's a big boot. He is a bit wasteful in regards to his disposal efficiency, but one to look at in preseason.
Currently in 8% of teams.
Yeah, I think it's just because he's so cheap, 441. But a player that we would just quickly mention, the same price, I'm pretty sure is Matthew Roberts. And I probably actually rate Roberts more than Short.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I've been considering rocking the Mills Robert
Double
duo.
Sid.
Yeah.
And
I've been really considering it because okay, they have the round 5 bye, but I don't have any Collingwood players in my team,
yeah.
you know? I'll cop the 2 people out. We've got a flex position. I've only got 1 player basically out then.
Yeah. And if we quickly just look at it, because I think people are forgetting how good he was at the end of the year. Because he went, I think it was round 17, he was the sub. And then round 18, he played a full game, got 95, 19, 141, 20. And they were using him more as the distributor as well.
Because even McInerney was out of the team and he kind of got that whole role back there and like showed what he could do.
Yeah. But it was mostly halfback because I think he got injured in the middle of the year, but just to finish it off, because he gets better and better. Round 20, 161.
Oh.
Port game, 85. Collingwood versus Collingwood, round 22, 92. Essendon, 112 and 118. So I've probably been thinking about this completely wrong. And maybe if I am going someone at a discounted price, Roberts is 434. What did we say Short was? 441 or 421 or something?
Short is, I had it just here.
I've got it right in front of me. 442. So, yeah, I would pick Roberts at that price. It's, if you can take the buy, do it.
Yeah, the only thing is that round 15 buy because you're picking Roberts as a keeper if you're doing that.
Yeah, same as,
Yeah, but if you're picking him as a keeper, so you're going to have him for that round 12 buy.
Yeah.
That has North Melbourne, Brisbane, GWS and stuff. I don't think that's that bad though. I think everyone's overthinking these buys and it's going to be not as bad as you think.
Well, it's only one buy. People are going to remember it's really only that round 12 buy that is a shitstorm. So everyone's going to be in the same boat probably. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And the next one real quick is 2 people. Stewart. I think he's just got forgotten about because he kind of had a rat shit season last year.
Yeah, I think he's still taggable and he's 1 year older. And I think I'd just rather Holmes in that category.
That's a great call. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
And you got Sicily as well, who if he has that back roll, mate, if he has that back roll and
Jimmy
battle
boy.
and Barras, he's just running around, plucking them, just conducting from the back line. They would be so stupid not to have him back there. But at the same time, they suck forward. So,
and I've heard that Gunston is going to be, the key forward because Kalshadir's out actually, which is a big loss. Yeah. So, and then Mitch Lewis isn't fit. So you'd assume that says, well, we were talking about this before the pod.
Well, Hardwick plays forward, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's being trialled as a forward again.
Yeah,
but he switched to back halfway the end of the year.
Did he?
Yeah, look, if we know he is playing back, pick him more than all the others because we just know how much of a pig he is.
100%. He's coming into my. If it's said he's playing backline, you make room for him no matter what because mate, his ceiling is untapped. He hasn't had for a while now keys to the back line. He's always had to do play on a tall, do like the team thing.
Play forward.
Now they've got those play forward. Now he's got those they've got more people there.
And do you remember he did his shoulder there, didn't he? Really early in the season and he was managing that. He needed surgery straight after the season finished.
Towards the back end of the season, he was just going on and off the bench.
Yeah. So anyway, what kind of midfielders have you got?
So the midfielders, I've got the pretty classic ones. I've got Clary, which was spoken about, Ashcroft, spoken about, and we've got, and I'm not that hot on it, but you're really hot on it at the start of the year, Chera. You still hot?
I'm still big on Chera. If I want Roberts, I want all these players. The buy actually factors into it But last year or the year before, whenever Chera dominated, I'm pretty sure he finished second in the best and fairest.
23.
23. Last year was injury hampered, but when he did play in the first half of the year, he was unbelievable.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he was. I think I'm looking at his stats now.
Get it up for us.
So
No, it wasn't that good. I got it
so
here.
92, 84, 128, 81 hammy or whatever injury he had, 99 and then 75. And then he came back, had a massive layover for 7 weeks. So what I'm remembering the year before. That's what I'm sort of basing these.
Yeah. Because he kind of didn't really find his spot in there. Never really came back fully.
And then he got injured again.
Yeah. And it was never really him. 2023, different story, obviously. Like, we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
I think he scored over 100 every single game.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably what I'm remembering. But I think I haven't heard anything injury related with him. I think he's had a good pre-season from the reports. And they've got Walsh. I'm pretty sure that's a doubt to start round one. Which would, even though Walsh doesn't play that much CBAs, but you'd assume that Chera is going to be the beneficiary of that.
Well,
I just think
Walsh
440
plays much CBAs.
He plays 50s or something like that. 50% CBAs, 60. Sometimes they put him on the wing and the flank. They got a good rotation.
True.
But
I never knew that.
That's why he scored such shit for you sometimes, mate.
Mate, never again list that guy. Fuck you, Walsh, you stupid. You know what I was doing this morning, actually? Sorry, off subject.
Yeah.
All morning, like maybe a good 2 hours, I was just watching highlights of Carlton losing.
Oh, there goes.
Just Collingwood beating Carlton.
There goes the Carlton fans.
There
They've just turned off the pod.
Collingwood beating Carlton. Looking at what's his fucking name? The commentator, biggest dickhead, goes to Carlton. Absolutely fucking loves them. Bold bloke.
Andy Marr.
Yeah, Andy Marr. Watching Andy Marr in the box, just crying his eyes out. You fucking dick.
Jesus.
Talk about
the one-eyed pod. Talk about the one-eyed pod.
Continue.
So, yeah, Walsh is around the 70s and 65s. Looking at Chera when he was in 76, 74, 68, same as Walsh. So I think they all mix in with Hewitt as well. I don't mind the pick. I feel like there's a lot of potential there. It's just dependent on if he has a full crack at it, which if you are a player, if you're a coach that hates injuries, which I think I picked a lot of injury-prone players last year and it really cooked me. Mm-hmm. I think you could fade him because you got your Ashcrofts, you got Oliver, you've got your other players. And
I think there's better options.
And he's a pod as well. He's only 5% owned as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You're really going to cop it from him if he fucks you. And I think he could. And it's just not going to be nice. One person I want to chat about, and I'm skipping ahead here, but is in the midfield. Nobody's chatted about this. So this is Josh Dacos at halfback. What are your thoughts on this?
I saw that on the run sheet. I do not mind it. I'm just quickly, but if you can quickly look what he scored in round 24, because I'm pretty sure
I'm looking at it now. Round 24, he did a 140.
Fuck me, mate. That is crazy.
And so wait, this is his last couple scores, and this is when he was playing wing, but more like defensive wing, really defensive wing.
Yeah.
So the lows are low and the highs are high. So he goes 103, an 83, then a 127, and then in this game he scored a 50. I don't know what happened here. Collingwood versus Carlton scored 54. Then he scored a 106, a 93, and then a 140.
I was busy that game. I remember that because I was in Darwin, but I wouldn't have been surprised if maybe one of the taggers, Chincotta, played on him maybe.
Maybe. And that's all from playing defensive. And if we go like the pure role that he was in, untapped, but it was about 106, 93, and 140. That was just pure halfback.
And the other thing I was going to raise, you don't think that would be affected by Houston? Houston will probably be more of a pig doing that kind of stuff.
Well, I have a feeling Houston's going to play through the middle.
Back and then middle. There's a lot of numbers that run through that midfield. But I would think, yeah.
I'd be interested to see how it goes in the practice match and how the setup is, because you're right. You got side bottom who's back and half back. You got Houston who's half back. You've got, I think Quaynor's going to the wing. You've got Jack Crisp who's going to go back onto half back probably.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is that Houston, we said this earlier in the podcast, but if you make a mistake, you can easily change. And there's actually players around that price anyway. But Houston is not playing round one because he's round zero. I think we play round zero, don't we?
Yeah.
He's not playing because he's still rubbed out. So if Dacos scores well, right, it may be, you're sort of trapped because maybe Josh scores well in round zero and then you're like, fuck, how good? But then round one, you actually see that, oh my God, this was, a big blunder. But I think you could probably take that gamble if.
Because what's he priced at?
440. I'll have a look.
Josh Dacos is 482.
Oh, that's a bit steep. Because if you paid 9 more K, you could get Will Day. Or if you subtracted 40K for, it's a draft pick. That's for sure. That if you're playing draft, pick him.
It's a good draft pick. But then for cheaper, you can fit in like a Clayton Oliver or Will Ashcroft. Like that's the spot he's taking.
Yeah.
So I think it's a no from me. And then one more real quick. I know we've got a few others in here, but we'll just talk about one more just for time's sake. Was Dawson.
Yeah. Dawson's just Dawes, isn't he? Like he did have a very slow start to last year, didn't he? It wasn't that actually good, and he lost a lot of money. Yeah, he lost a lot of money for people. But I'm pretty sure he finished off rather the year strong, didn't he? I'm just googling his stats. He's priced at 550. That's okay. I mean, you could get Ed Richards for 20K less. But
that's exactly right. Well, who would you rather, Dawson or Ed Richards? I think I'd kind of rather Dawson. Nah,
so
what I'm scared
very
of.
Slow. It was very slow. Round 6, banged out. So he was pumping out 80. He was an 81 average on round 5. And then by 10 rounds later, he corrected it to 104. So he had a massive spike. And then after the bye, he went 94, 60, 108, 81, didn't play, 98, 105, 143, 102. So from what I said before, he gained his average to 105.9 and actually ended up losing 3 points. So it wasn't like he had a hot end of the season. He just had a real hot patch in that middle of the season. I don't mind him. I feel like he got thrown around a lot because Adelaide was just, they were just struggling all the time.
They didn't know.
And
it was kind of like they didn't know who they were. They didn't know what their mix looked like.
Yeah, and he lost confidence as well, I'm pretty sure. I think he would be a player to target in your team, but I don't think he's necessarily an option, but he's not. Like, you could probably put Dawson ahead of Richards. At least Dawson, you know what's going to actually happen.
Yeah. Only
Uh,
thing I'm scared of is they've got a lot of people who want to get in that midfield now. Like there's
Correct.
so many people who want to be in that midfield.
And then
Uh,
he can play, and that may be better for him because he can play back half the ball, that's his best, I reckon. Like he's a great mark. But he can also play forward a little. He's like just a Mr. Fix-It guy because he's so good.
you
He's
don't
just
want
a
that in
poor.
your Supercoach team.
He's a poor man's Bond, isn't he?
He
He's
is.
a poor
He's a
man's
poor man's
Bond.
Bond.
He's a better kick than Bond.
Yeah. What's your verdict? Yes or no?
No, maybe later, but no for starting.
I'm a no as well. And moving on to the mid prices real quick in the midfield. We've got Ollie Hollands, and I know you're pretty hot on him.
Yeah.
We've got Peatling, we've got Cummins, we've got Marek, and we've got Sin.
Yeah. So Hollands is playing halfback, but I'm
Sin's probably
already touched
back
on it.
anyway.
Yeah. So both of them, they're playing halfback. Hollands is 333K, so he's a bit expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the first person?
Peatling.
Peatling, when he is playing that sort of half forward and then goes in the CBAs, every time he scores well. I guess it's just depending on, you'll see it in preseason how he's being used. But if he can get, because I'm pretty sure he was going into the CBAs. I had it open a minute ago for GWS.
It's really good stats, like really good scoring.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he tackles a fair bit as well.
Why are you looking at that?
Well, round 19, Peatling 67, 69, 67, 64, and then 79. So I would be sure that it would be more than that he's getting in Adelaide, because that he's wanting frequent game time, and he knocked back an offer for GWS. So I feel like he's been promised, a good role that he can flourish in. So I feel like he's probably a lock most of out. I'm more confident on Peatling than Hollands, obviously, and I think everyone would be. But there's a potential in there that Peatling could be a keeper as well. And if he plays a little bit it just depends on, because sometimes he plays forward and he could be a sniff to play forward as well, as a DPP. It's all question marks with Adelaide.
I know. Do you think that he's screaming people are just comfortable having him in the team, and then
Well,
just
I
forgetting
remember
about him
last
and
year
he's
to
a trap?
you, I always went to you last year that this guy is a fucking gun. Like, he is so good, it's not funny. And Collingwood were trying to get him, and I was telling you, like, mate, if we get Peatling, he's mustard. Like, he's so good. And it's because he's a scorer, man. He can, because there was times where he was getting sub and all that kind of stuff, and you were like, why is he sub? And then he gets on and he's just freakish. And did you see his mark that he took? He flew in
I
and
saw
marked
that
it.
little highlight. Yeah, it's good.
But what you say is right. There's Peatling. Apparently, Rochelli's had a good preseason, and in them wanting to play midfield, there's Keys can't even get in the midfield now. Sometimes he's playing Saligo. Lair's been pushed out, but we don't know if that's right. Dawson's in there. There's a lot of Rankin. I think we forgot Rankin. So he could be a burn man. You are right. I just think, mate, he's so good.
Could be just big burn, man. Maybe we just anti-pod Peatling and go Hollands.
Oh, that could be it. Well, we'll see in pre-season. We'll definitely see this in pre-season.
You see the mix. You see how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Any of those other mid prices sound good to you?
No, just you said Cumming, but I read into him, and we spoke briefly that if he's half back, pick him. If he's wing, don't pick him. And the reports are that he's playing wing. So sadly, he was a gun when he played half back. So
all right. So Hollands, yes. Peatling, yes. Cummins, no. Marek, Maybe.
Marek is playing halfback, and we
Yep.
know what happens with halfbacks, and he's
Halfbackers at
229K.
shit clubs. That
It's
could
a
be
super,
such a steal, man,
it's a
that
super
nobody goes
coach's
for.
dream.
That could be a
Yeah,
Massimo D'Ambrosio steal
yeah,
and Sin.
and yeah. So Sin halfback. I mean, with Houston being out, I think he's stepping into that role. But Farrell's been on light duties, so I don't know if Sin will, you know, be in the spot if Farrell comes back, because they're doing A's and B's at the moment, and Farrell's
Yep.
been on. But I'm pretty sure I read something that they played together. But 229K, defender. I think with Marek, he's a forward, so it's a bit different. And that I think I'd be more confident. Would you say Marek or Sin, or you still don't know?
I'm thinking that I'll probably put Marek in instead of Lynch.
Yeah, yeah,
Run the same setup, but just get rid of Lynch and put Marek in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Rucks. It's
Rucks.
just Darcy. It's really only
We've got
Darcy.
Sherry, Gorn, TDK, Darcy, and I've got Toby Nankervis here as well if you want a super pod.
I mean,
But
forget about
what do you think? I want to put Darcy in my team just because Qatar.
Yeah, I like Darcy a lot. And the reports are 15. He's lost 12, 15 kilos. And he's got a great buy. I mean,
Mate,
now
those Perth boys, when they go to Qatar, they just
yeah,
fucking live it up. They go back into the heat. They're all
it's the
relaxed. They're
best,
like
isn't it?
feeling good. Yeah.
I I did hear Caden Corns lip up about it, and I feel like he just read the title or the headline, and it's just saying that Darcy's off to Qatar, and he's just gone SEN, just given Sean Darcy absolute shit. When I felt like calling SEN and just saying Darcy's going to absolutely launch this year. He's lost 15 kilos. He's going to be saying, Luke Jackson, go to the fucking forward line, all right? I've got this. And then
I can't
he'll
wait to
average
see it.
120.
But
But
I want to put him in.
and his nickname Shrek. Shrek.
Yeah.
That's just
What more could you want?
exactly. The other rucks, I feel like you could go Gorn, TDK, and Cherry. They're all the same, but I feel
Wherever
like
out there, I'm
Cherry will
going
be
Gorn.
number one. Yeah,
No,
I think Cherry will be number one.
Gorn will reign supremacy again. They don't have anyone else. He has to stand up for Melbourne. Aren't playing right now for bottom 8. They want
Yeah,
to play finals, and Gorn's the guy who makes that happen.
yeah.
It is him. He has to make
Well,
it
I
happen.
think I'll get Gorn
He
eventually.
pisses out points. He literally
Yeah.
pisses points. He's
The more
like a big fire engine, mate. Points
just big streamer, you reckon?
yeah, big schlong on Gorn,
The
just
more-
running around pissing out points along the field.
The more I'm talking to you about my team, these players, I'm just going, scrap that draft. I need a revamp with Gorn. Gorn,
He's putting
no
Gorn
short.
in, baby.
Put Rankin in. Put Horny. But yeah, I think it's really those three. So Gorn, so 4: Gorn, Shrek, Cherry, and TDK.
Or Flynn.
Or Flynn. But Flynn is just that's the big one, right? Is Flynn a must-have?
I think he's going to make a lot of cash.
Yeah, and that's what we want. That's what we want. So
it's a money game at the end of the day. It's a money game.
Yeah, and we know we missed out on Ned Moyle last year, but it only took him 2 weeks to make some cash.
Mate,
if
you have a 200K player that is scoring 90s every week, they're making cash.
Yeah. So I think the more I think about it, I didn't have him in my draft, but I think he's going to average more than, say, all those mid prices that we discussed earlier, those 330Ks and all
And
that. So
this is
yeah,
why I've got him on my field because I reckon he scores more than Smith and Smiley and more than Hewitt and all of these. I reckon he scores more. You know,
yeah, and he for GWS. I'm just getting up his stats very quickly. Um, but for memory, he has been a Supercoach pig in the past, which it's not that hard being a ruckman, you know. But
yeah,
I think it was maybe 2 years ago. He's been around the system for a while. He's been in there since 2016. He averaged 84 in 2022, 21, 87, 2020, nothing. So I think that's when he's like ruck star
87.
later.
That's what we want, baby. You give me those
84 and
87s, and
87.
I'll give you a kiss. I'll give you a
Yeah,
kiss on the cheek.
on the
If
list.
he if
Put the
he
ruck on the
averages
list.
87, that's fucking elite.
Yeah, I think he is very injury prone. That's the only knock on him, and he
And
actually
then you're
did have an
fucked,
injury
hey?
scare. But when he has played ruck, I'm just looking at 2022. His first game was 120, and he got a 41, and then had a little break, and then round 5, 113, 122. So
Mate,
he can
you're
score.
right.
Yeah,
Just wait. You're right.
yeah,
If he gets injured,
it's a must-have.
wait, if he gets
Oh no,
injured, and if
you,
I
yeah,
have him
yeah,
on field and he gets injured, I'm cooked.
yeah. So he's not an on-field play. Maybe he's a flex play.
He's not a flex play. You can't put him as a flex.
Yeah,
You can, but you're very pigeonholed in. You'd have to wait until he makes his cash before you
yeah,
can trade him out. Before you can
yeah.
like get flexible, you know?
But that will only take 4 weeks. Won't be that bad.
What, you're gonna take 4 weeks for him to get up?
Well,
I
didn't
want that
Moyle?
flexibility
No,
from the
6.
get-go. I want that like, you know, those first 3 weeks where you just boost, boost, boost. I want that. Ooh, I'm spending like 72 hours locked in, just changing trades, just flexing shit around all the way, just putting all these whiteboard shit. That's gonna be me. I don't want to have to be like, fuck, how good would
So
it be if
you
I
know
didn't
you're
have
gonna,
fucking Flynn
yeah.
up there?
But if you have the perfect team, you won't have to.
No, have the
You're
perfect
just gonna
team.
let it.
I'll admit my team's gonna be
Anyway,
fucking cooked.
but
I'm going for so many silly players.
that is true. That is true. I am looking at Jaden Short in my team, so I may as well neck myself right now. We should just get on the forwards.
Yeah.
And we'll probably. I reckon we could just talk about the um the hot forwards, and then maybe do you want to speak to the rookies afterwards, or we can maybe hold that for a little bit once we maybe get a
Yeah,
little
we'll
bit more info.
maybe do it
Um,
next time.
yeah, that's fine. So the forwards, so we've spoken about Marek. The big one, and I just want to note this because everyone will be fucking forgetting about him. Once Philippou gets fit and healthy, I'm downgrading that. Whoever I have, I'm downgrading it to the poo. He is
Get the poo
unreal.
in.
People will forget about him. I'm telling you. But I can't believe it. He was more locked than Baz for me.
Oh,
He,
100%.
such a shame. We lose. What are the Supercoach gods? What are they doing to us?
But it'll be good now because not everyone will be able to get him in.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you have a ruck in your flex, you might not be able to get him in because you might not be able to do those kind of players.
I was looking at a player that plays for West Coast. I mean, just quickly while I look him up, any do you rate Sam Powell? Because the thing with the forward line is you're only really picking Horny Man, which is a questionable, like whether you pick him or not, and then it's really the rookies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or not rookies, say, but 180 to say 300 or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you? I guess the first one I'm talking about the rookies, Sam Powell Pepper at an elevated price. Do you like?
Now, I have looked at it and I've looked into it. Even when he's playing, he's like a 40s to
Yeah,
like
I agree.
80s kind of guy.
Yeah,
And what's changed? Like you just said before, he got older. hasn't played footy for a while and got older. They
Yeah.
reckon he's flying
And an
though.
ACL. And an
Yeah.
ACL as well.
Yeah. And they
Something
reckon
to be
he's
careful of.
flying. Port Adelaide have the best bye. I don't know. You know what's something that I was just thinking of? Can you run Butters and Rosie combo?
Yes, I think, well, I'm a big fan of every combo there is. I mean, I guess you can't have too many of them.
Butters,
Apparently
Rosie,
Rosie
Bont,
is
Ed
flying at the
Richards.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they share the same buy, don't they?
No.
No. I
No.
mean, I don't hate it, but I'd be more cautious on Rosie and looking at all the other options rather than Ed Richards, who we think is going to pop off. But
Only reason I
Rosie could
say
be
is because
set
they
in
have
the
the best
same.
buy. They have the best
Yeah,
buy. Round 13, one buy out of the whole year.
yeah. Uh, hmm. I haven't even looked into the Rosie this year, but I did know he was a bit piss poor last year, which is a bit brutal. But I thought he was a little bit more worse than previous years. But he was a forward, wasn't he?
He played well
Uh,
last year. He got injured.
he played what? What was it? What did he average? I haven't even got it in front of me.
Look at this. Rosie. Oh, let me go mid. Where's it coming up? Connor Rosie last year. We've got. He went I'm going to start from the very start. 114, 90, 102, 152, 125. And then he did a 65, a 91, and a 53. Ugh. Didn't play. Looks
Yeah.
like he got injured. A
And then
39 is
afterwards,
still injured. Didn't play. Comes back. 75, then a 111, 103, 168, 105, 113, then a 73, then a 108, 104, 96, and a 79.
decent,
Not bad.
but wouldn't you rather Butters and Horn Francis?
Or Butters and Rankin.
We've already. I guess you can just quickly touch on Rankin. You think Rankin? Well, where do you think he'll be the highest scorer in Supercoach? For forward, sorry.
I think he's going to have a wild ceiling. Like we're going to see some crazy scores come out of him because he kicks goals, he has CBAs, he has all these things, having a flying this preseason. They know
Yep.
his role and he's going to just stick to that role the whole year. He's their hype man, like he's their guy.
Yeah.
I think Adelaide are going to be a very different team this year. I think they're actually going to be very good.
Yeah. And so then Horny, and then probably McRae.
Yeah, but I think Rankin and Horny, you could split them. Like they're the exact same. Horny might actually just destroy them because he's that player who is a very talented player, was young, went to a new team, slowly working his way in, showed real good signs last year, and now has that role. Like he's going to get that midfield role now and basically let it rip.
Yeah. My other shout was Jack Hutchinson, who is apparently playing the midfield, but I had a look at he was the number one draft pick, I think, in the preseason draft last year. But I looked at it and basically his fantasy points were at a 60 to 80, so I don't think I'd go there. But he was a half forward for Collingwood. He played in Collingwood's VFL, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I think it is Marek that is the potential ticket to do really well and earn us some money. But other than that, the forward line is just so slim. You've got Elijah Hewitt, that's a lock. The only questionable one that we could probably end on is because there's no other forwards that could be potential premiums. Do you agree?
We're forgetting about DPP, so like track will probably go down there as well.
Exactly. So it's really, I guess, the forward line. You can basically talk with I know we're going to park the rookies, but it's filled with it. Unless you have the big three, McRae, Smith, and Daniel, you could put Horney in there or Rankin. But other than that, there's no one else that is viable at all.
I don't
You're
think you
looking
have
at
to
your
put him in there
Lynchies.
either.
Yeah,
You don't
you
have to
can
put
find your
Horny or
tech
Rankin in there.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got them. I wouldn't mind Horn Francis. He's potential playing more midfield. He's called the horny one, and hornylicious and all that kind of stuff. And he might actually just take the world. I remember talking to you last year. There was just games where he was just absolutely tearing them apart.
Yeah.
Just saying,
He's a great player.
Blowing North Melbourne kisses. Just saying.
Yeah.
I used you. All right, I used you.
Yeah,
that's what he did.
He did.
That's what he did, didn't he? He's just fucking used them.
Didn't he say that he wasn't going to leave? He's like, I'm going to play here and stuff, and then instantly, see ya.
I don't know. I just find it. I remember Cam Zerha posted a photo of Jason Horn Francis training at Adelaide with his North gear. North gear is still on. I was like, mate, you can't be what?
You bad man.
Shit. You literally, you killed every bit of North Melbourne blood or faith. Any supporters, they were just like, get rid of him. He doesn't want to be there.
They hated him for so long.
They still do.
Hatred.
They'll still boo him.
Yeah.
I just find it funny that North Melbourne, created that booing, and then every other supporter base just started booing him for no reason. It's like surely AFL fans can just use their brain, and just go, oh, surely, it's just a North Melbourne thing. It's not just that. Collingwood were a part of it. We'll boo the fuck out of him.
Collingwood boo anyone for anything. Bloke will smile and give Collingwood $1 million and they'll still boo him.
But no, I think next week we'll try and get the rookies, and maybe we can do a sort of a team update.
Yeah, but I'd like to do a
at the moment
dive.
It's all guesswork. It's all guesswork, unfortunately. But I think we commented on some players that could actually pop off.
Yeah, I reckon next week we go a little bit more in depth on some of those players that we spoke about, like Rankin and the horny one, see which ones were a little bit better, or do a little deep dive on like Flynn and stuff like that, and where we could use him and where other people could use him.
Yeah, definitely. All good.
Cool. So, thank you. Let's do it.
See you guys.
See ya.